Joining us this morning is the book's author, Pulitzer Prize-winning New York Times columnist Jim Stewart, who thinks it all ties into the markets and the economy. Jim, congratulations on the book.
Thank you. It feels good to get it out.
What do you want viewers to know about it?
Well, let's start with the concept of the deep state. Trump has weaponized that, has been using it as a pejorative. But as you'll see in the pages there, yes, you can say there is a deep state in this country, and I think, thank goodness there is. It's the entrenched bureaucracy. It's all the civil servants who, number one, work for the American people, number two, pledge to uphold the Constitution. They do not work for the President of the United States or the White House. And that is the essence of the rule of law. We have always had an independent judiciary, an independent Justice Department, and an independent investigative arm in the FBI. Trump has attacked that full scale. So what does this have to do with the markets? This is the point I really want to make here today. Healthy markets and free markets rest on the rule of law. Why is Hong Kong the financial center of Asia, or has been? Because it had the British tradition of the rule of law there. You could argue that the SEC is part of the deep state. The SEC is a quasi-independent agency. It enforces fair markets, and that's partly why investors have so much confidence. I think it's very important for people to step away from the day-to-day gyrations of the market and look longer term and say, the reason we have a stock market, the reason it works so efficiently is that we have a long tradition of chief executives who honor the rule of law. And in the pages of deep state, I have to say, I'm not a partisan at all. I come from a long line of Republicans. I'm from a county in the Midwest that went 70% for Trump. But I don't think he knows what the rule of law is.
Are you characterizing whether there's been an erosion to rule of law in this country?
Oh, my God, yes. I mean, look around. Look what the whistleblower is saying. Look who we now have running the Justice Department. One of the stories that I find so fascinating in my book is the transformation of Rod Rosenstein from a highly respected independent prosecutor into someone essentially who did the bidding of the White House, rushing to judgment with Barr to say, oh, there was no obstruction, mischaracterizing the Mueller report. Now Barr, he gets the whistleblower complaint. He doesn't even ask the FBI to look into the facts. Before even knowing what facts are, he says, oh, there's no crime here, there's nothing to investigate. This is a dangerous sign to me that the independence of those agencies has been eroded.
Barr is on a plane going around the world right now, investigating the 2016 election and the FBI's role in it, isn't he?
He is, and he's spending an enormous amount of time and taxpayer money. I don't mean to be honest here, but I wish you would just read my book. That it has the whole story there. There is no mystery about how the Russian investigation began. And let me remind people, which a lot of people seem to have forgotten, Trump was not the subject of the Russian investigation. Comey told him 3 times. He put it in the letter. He was not a subject. He became a subject when, number one, he fired Comey, and 2, especially, he then lied about it and started acting like someone who was covering up a crime.
I want to go back to this point about the rule of law, because I think it really is a crucial one. And I think what makes going back to this idea of rule of law, and especially in the U.S., is there's no one person that's the end-all, be-all, including the president, current president or any other president.
Absolutely.
And so the counter, I think, to the point you just made, or maybe it even reinforces it, is the fact that when you do see a potential abuse of power, whether it exists or whether it doesn't, you do see these other mechanisms kick into place, like impeachment inquiries.
That's correct. And, people say, oh, these people are traitors, it's unpatriotic. No, impeachment is part of the Constitution. There are important checks and balances here. And I think another important thing, and I talk to some people, and they say, well, I don't really care whether Trump spoke to Ukraine or not. You can't cherry pick the laws that you want someone to enforce and then assume they're not going to honor the other ones. You either obey the law or you don't. All laws apply to everyone.